Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a moment, please, for those first responders, people who serve around the world, and all those who put their lives down on the front line. Beth, will you read the prayer?
Yes. Bless our efforts. We seek blessings on the tasks before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberation and wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. At this time, I would like to bring our mayor, our Romano, and our new chief, Chief Kevin Santucci. Thanks, man. Thanks.
So good afternoon, everyone. Come on, we all have to be excited. We're all out. Right? Never been so happy in my life. But good afternoon. I want to thank the board for allowing the chief and I to spend 20 minutes with you on what started out as a beautiful day and kind of got progressively, but hopefully it won't rain. But thanks again for coming. It's very, very important that we get out to the communities here in Holiday City, Silver Ridge, and Berkeley Townships, Otta Bay, all the communities. When I first became mayor about 10 years ago, we used to go to all the clubhouses, and obviously that worked out really well. I think we hit probably 85 what I call mini town halls. 85 of them since I took over mayor. I think it's very important that we get out to the community, meet each and every one of you, address your concerns, because we work for you. We want to hear what you have to say of what we can do to make things better. We always appreciate, the kudos or the attaboys that our jobs do, and our police department, our public works. But we also want to hear the constructive criticism. My can was broken, my curb is broken, my street needs to be repaved, or whatever the issues are. We want to hear directly from you, and that's why we've been doing this since 2012. I just want to once again thank everybody for coming out, and hopefully we'll be able to come back in the fall. Because normally what I do when I do these town halls, if you're not familiar, I bring representatives from the police department, from the public works department, from the engineering department, from our engineer's office, if I mentioned that already, our animal control. I've already been reminded how bad the deers are, so we're working with animal control and fish and game and wildlife to see what we can do to thin out the herd. I'll touch on that real briefly. Probably about 15 years ago, we were getting complaints about the deer hunters because, they're supposed to be within 200 feet, and we lobbied the legislature to try to increase that feet, and then we were able to extend the no hunting zone. Well, when you extend the no hunting zone, the deers aren't being hunted because they're extended, so that's part of the problem. So we're going to discuss it with the chief, our animal control, see what we can do with fish and game to try to get them back in here. Of course, the geese are another problem, but fish and game come in, they coddle the eggs, they do some trappings from here and there, so we make sure we get those done. But just to touch on that, because as soon as I came in, hey Mayor, how you doing? Good to see you. What are you going to do about these deer? I say, great to see you. We're working on it. We are, I promise. I want to thank each and every one of you, obviously, for being here, but you're active in the petition drive for the immunity for the senior communities. That was very important. I'm sure you've probably read it in the publications that there was some legislation out there to help expedite, to get the clubhouses open, to get the pools open, to get everything open, was to get immunity legislation. because this was, obviously a pandemic or unprecedented. And the liabilities the associations would take if they opened the associations and opened the clubhouses and pools and somebody got contracted COVID, the liability would be tremendous. So thankfully, through working through the legislature, working through the governor's office, they were able to get the legislation passed. The governor signed it into law on July 1st, and that had a lot to do with each and every one of you signing those petitions, calling my office, calling the senator's office, the assemblyman's office. And so amenities are starting to be opened up out here. And I tell you, if the weather was better, I would have took off the tie and the jacket and I would have jumped in the pool, but it wasn't. Because we're dying to get in the pools, right? I know that was a big issue. Last night, we had a council meeting. We adopted our 2021 municipal budget, and I can tell you the municipal tax rate will stay the same. No tax increase for the municipal services here in Berkeley County. We were fortunate that the school districts, both school districts, went up about a half a penny, but the county went down about a penny. So when you get your final tax bill, probably next month in September, you will actually see. I know there was a little sticker shock when they got the estimated tax bill. That'll be back down. So when you get the fourth quarter, when you carry it out, because I know there were some concerns that people got the estimated third quarter taxes, times it by 4, and they went crazy. I go, I would have went crazy too. But that's only estimated to get us through until the fourth quarter is done. When you see the fourth quarter, you'll see the fourth quarter is going to come down, and then it'll level off for 2022 for the first 2 quarters. So that was very important to get out. Any veterans here?
Oh, yeah.
Any veterans? Raise your hand, veterans. How about a round of applause for our veterans? Thank you very much for your service. And I got to say, it's always a pleasure when they play the national anthem. You getting cut up already? Time for me to go? They got the hook? It's always nice to see everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, stand for the national anthem in honor of our veterans. We still have a lot of World War II veterans here in Berkeley Township. We're number 1 in the state of New Jersey. A lot of Korean veterans and Vietnam veterans and veterans of conflicts and different wars. And, we need to honor them at every opportunity and thank them for their service to our country. I was fortunate enough that I did not have to be drafted, or I didn't have to join the service because of the commitment those World War II, Korean and Vietnam veterans paved the way for us. So, I always make sure I stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and our national anthem because we're honoring our veterans for the service that they made for this country. So thank you, veterans. Appreciate that. Speaking of veterans, it was learned today that the new VA clinic will be in Toms River. They're going to build a brand new VA clinic at Toms River. About time. That was another issue that we've been fighting for many, many years, because in Berkeley Township, we didn't have enough land, but Toms River Township has enough land, and it's going to be over by the Ocean County Mall. So I timed it, it's going to be about 8 miles from here to right next to the Ocean County Mall for the VA clinic, because I know, I get a lot of complaints about they have to drive to East Orange or even Brick, there's no parking in Brick. These are our veterans, they fought for us, and many of them, died to make this the greatest country in the world, and the way we treat our veterans is not right. It's not right. So we're very pleased about the new VA clinic. I want to talk about COVID for a few minutes. I ran into an old friend who invited me a few years ago to the bocce courts when they redid them, and he told me he lost his wife to COVID. So I'm very sorry for those of you who may have lost family and friends due to the COVID crisis. It's a difficult situation to go through. But here in Berkeley Township, we have 43,000 residents. The census just came out, about 43,000 residents. And since they started accounting for COVID cases in March of 2020, we had 4,383 residents that had COVID, and that's since March 2020. December, I put out a newsletter that as of December of 2020, we had about 2,000 COVID cases. So they're trending down. And then, of course, sadly, we had 265 deaths in Berkeley Township. And of the 265, 83% were 65 and older. So we gotta, even though we don't need to wear masks now, and make sure you social distance. Make sure when you go indoors, if you want to, wear a mask. And if you have an opportunity, if you didn't get an opportunity to get vaccinated, I'm not pro-vaccination, I'm not anti-vax. I'm just saying there's a lot of vaccine available. If you haven't had an opportunity to get it, the Board of Health can make arrangements to get you. Because, early on, and John knows because we were working with John and all the associations, to try to get the vaccine early on in Berkeley Township was a struggle. We had the most vulnerable population out of all the all the ages and demographics, and it was very difficult to get the vaccine. But we were lucky to work with, your Councilwoman Sophia Gingrich here, Mike Morelli, and we worked with private providers like Walmart and Rite Aid to get them in to provide vaccinations because we were just getting nowhere, unfortunately, with the state. Now that more vaccines are being approved, they're more readily available. So you should consider it, think about it. Like I said, I'm not telling you to get vaccinated or not get vaccinated. That's a personal choice. That's up to you. But just let science and the facts dictate what you like to do. We handed out some bags of information. When you go home, you can take a look at it. There's just some good information in there for our residents. And when I come back, hopefully September, October, we'll provide some additional information because I really do miss these meet and greets or town halls to get out to see the people, because it's been a long 16 months for many people, but it's just nice to get out and see everybody again. Briefly, just if anybody has any concerns on infrastructure, you can see me after I'm done speaking. Any issues with the roadways, road needs to be repaved, or cracked curbs, sidewalk issues, any issues with sanitation, recycling, you can see me in the back. I have my two assistants with me, Jim and Gina. We'll take the information and we'll get it to our engineer's office to follow up. We're doing a lot of work. I'm sure hopefully you've seen some work already undergoing here in Holiday City of Berkeley. Either they've been paved already or they're scheduled to be paved. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 roadways either have been paved already or scheduled to be paved. So, we can continue to do that. And that's how it happens. Generally, when I do these town halls, residents come up to me and say, hey, my road hasn't been paved in 25 years. Can you get it on the list? And that's what we do. We refer it to engineer and public works, and that's how we get it on the list to get done. We're fortunate enough that the bonding capacity is very low. Interest rates are very low, so we have an opportunity to bond and get some roads done each and every year. We do about $4 million a year, and that's what all 9 adult communities. So $4 million may seem like a lot, but when you have 271 miles of municipally owned roadways, you have 300 courts, cul-de-sacs, and dead ends, $4 million doesn't go that very far. So we try to, prioritize what needs to be done, and we get it done as quickly as possible. Our chief, Karen DeMichael, after a 26-year career, decided to retire, and she did retire at the end of April. And we were fortunate enough to have a deputy chief, Kevin Santucci, who has been running the department probably the last 8 months, while Karen was getting ready for her retirement. He's done a phenomenal job, and he started out as a Class 1, Class 2 officer in Seaside Park, and then 2001, he went over to Ocean Gate, and then 6 months later, we were fortunate enough to get him over here in Berkeley Township. He went up the ranks. He was a sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and then we made him deputy chief, and then on May 1st of this year, we made Kevin our chief. So we're looking forward to a long, healthy relationship with Kevin, and he's got a lot of innovative ideas that he's going to be brought forth in a few months to help everyone out with the situations with law enforcement. And it's my honor and privilege to introduce to you our new chief, Kevin Santucci.
gave me the hook before I even got on. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start out by thanking you for having me out here today. Excuse my back being to you, but it's...
Just did it again.
Made in China.
Give it a shot. Tap it. Yeah, sure. Gee.
I'm not hitting the button, I promise. I want to thank you for having us out here today. On behalf of the police department, I can tell you, between the mayor and council and the members of this community, I'm not touching the button. I have 2 children. I can yell loudly.
There you go.
Can you hear me? Okay. Try this again. I'm not touching the button.
Needs a battery.
Can you hear me if I talk like this?
Yes.
Like I said, I have 2 children. I want to thank everybody for having us here today. It's great to have a township and a mayor and council that support the police. Unfortunately, a lot of municipalities around this state and around the country are not as fortunate as that, so it does not go unnoticed by myself and by our guys, I can promise you that.
Absolutely.
As the mayor said, I know that this was an opportunity for me to meet everyone, so I was going to give a little background on myself. He touched upon it. Come on, Mayor.
Probably needs a battery.
Hey, Shannon.
How's this?
Hey.
I'm not touching the button. The button was red on the other one. This one's green. So. The mayor gave a little introduction of my background in law enforcement. Like he said, I worked in Seaside Park in 1999. I believe the officer in the back might not even have been alive at that point. But I started here. I started in Seaside in 99 with Ocean Gate, and then I came to Berkeley. Last month, I started my 21st year here. I had the opportunity to work in the patrol division with our detective bureau as a training officer, a Marine unit. I worked with the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office drug and gang unit. Like the mayor said, I was able to progress from sergeant up to lieutenant, captain, deputy chief. So I got to see a lot of different angles within the agency. I was born and raised here in Berkeley, but like a lot of people in this room and people I meet in this community, my family is originally from Newark. My parents were down here, so I was born and raised here. Get a lot of that up here. I know Kevin doesn't go with Santucci. I get that a lot. I know that. Everybody else in my family is named Anthony and Michael. I know. Like I said, I went to Central Regional High School. I have a bachelor's degree from the College of New Jersey. I have a master's degree from Fairleigh Dickinson University. Married September for 19 years, 2 children. Well, 2 men, I should say. They're both bigger than me. And that's about it about me. That's enough about me. Look forward to bringing some new things to the community. If you guys have any questions or concerns, I'll be here afterwards, or anytime contact our agency, whether it's through email, through our automated number. When you call the automated number, a lot of the complaints we get here, I know what's the number 1 complaints we get here? Well, number 2 then. Okay, number 2.
Speeding.
Wow, I like this group. No, speeding, traffic issues. Traffic issues, that's what we get everywhere. So if you have particular areas that are of concern, if you call in our traffic safety unit, we put out frequently certain areas that are becoming problem areas, whether it's missing street signs, or speeding, or whatever it may be traffic related, we put that out so the officers know, in addition to their normal patrol duties, to hit those areas. So, yeah. I mean, and honestly, you guys are probably need every street here, I get it. And I have family and friends that live in this community, so on top of my normal duties that I would, that I have to as a police officer, I'm invested in this community because I have family and friends that live up here as well. So, I try to tell my officers, treat the people in this community like they're their parents or grandparents, because that's how I tried to look at it when I was on patrol here. So, we also have our tip line through our detective bureau. When you call the automated number, you can remain anonymous, but we do always stress, if it's something immediate, do not leave a message on there, because that happens more than you would know. Somebody needs immediate response and they leave a message, and it could be a Friday night and they might not get that message till Monday morning. But a lot of those tips that have come in lead to stuff down the line, whether it's drugs, other suspicious activity up here. Yes, there are drugs and other illegal activities here and everywhere in the world. Nobody's immune to that. It doesn't matter your race, your religion, your economic status, that doesn't matter. So if you have any information, always pass it on to us, because we can't be everywhere all the time, and we need your help to do that. All right? If anybody needs anything, like I said, I'll be here, and look forward to working for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
It turned it off on me, it turned it back on. As the chief had just mentioned, you are the eyes and ears of your community. As I mentioned before, we're 42 square miles, 43,000 residents. How many miles of roadway?
A lot.
270 something? Close enough, 271. You win. If I had a prize, I'd give it to you. So, you know what's going on in your neighborhood. You see something suspicious, that a car frequently visits a neighbor or across the street 4 or 5 times a day, different ones, report that to the anonymous tip line. If you see a crime going on, obviously call 911. Because you are the best police for your area, because, we have 80 sworn officers. I think we had another pending retirement soon, and we're going to get that filled as soon as possible. We can't be everywhere at every time. We do get out there as much as we can, and Kevin will tell you, but you know what's going on in your neighborhood. So anything suspicious, call that tip line, and our Protective Bureau will be on it. Last year, in 2020, we received a federal grant, what they call a COPS grant, for $1.2 million, and we were able to hire 10 additional police officers, which was a big deal for us, because, obviously, the more police officers you have, the more patrolling you can do, especially up here in the senior community, to get as many officers up here as possible patrolling during the day and night. Why don't you guys come on up real quick? Come on, don't be shy.
Oh, these are the new guys?
All right.
They're our finest.
All right.
I'm going to introduce these guys. I know they love being up here. This is Sergeant Tazinski, Patrolman Light Body. He's one of those 10 new officers. Patrolman Solomon and Patrolman Bondage. He was born in 94, not 99. His father was one of my training officers, put it that way.
Thanks.
Thank you all. And then lastly, I'm just going to ask Councilwoman Gingrich to come on up and say hello and say a few words, and then we'll let you guys get to your meeting. But we will be in the back or in the corridor if anybody has any issues they want to have us address. So without further ado, Councilwoman Gingrich.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, thank you all for coming today. It's nice to see a full room of our residents. Secondly, I have just 2 things to really address. As you all know, we do have a food bank. It comes once a month. During the COVID, we were giving out what they called crisis boxes. And in those boxes, they gave you oatmeal and some vegetables and so on. It kind of just helped people know that if they needed more, they could call me and we could get them more, but they knew they had at least that. Now we have the truck coming again. The food will be displayed on the tables. I have 10 volunteers. I have to say this community steps up when we need help, and I want to thank all the ladies in here and some of the gentlemen for their help. And we do need men to help because we need the muscle and the height. That's what's important for us. But again, thank you. And it's the 4th Friday of the month, and if anyone can come and help, that would be appreciated. The other issue that we have, what time? It's on Fridays, 9:30 to 11, and it's in the paper. Our local paper that goes every month has that service listed, what we offer. The other issue that we have that's happening a lot, people are feeding the animals. Please don't feed the cats and anything else to the deer, because they're starting to not be able to hunt for themselves. And that causes a problem for the animals later on. But the feeding the cats, and they're on other people's properties, and people are complaining, please don't do that. It's not necessary. The cats know how to hunt for themselves when they're hungry. Other than that, I really don't have anything. I want to thank our new chief, Kevin Santucci. He's fantastic, and you're in good hands with him. He also has taken charge of the speeders. We've seen a lot of reduction in the speeding because I live on Jamaica, so I see it all day long, but they really have slowed down quite a bit, and I would like to thank him for the program that he put out. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
And if you want to reach me, you know how. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Thank you all. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Sophia. I'd just like to make one comment about our mayor and our council. We've had a group here of veterans and friends that's helped all the veterans in Ocean County for the past 6 or 7 years. We've run a benefit every year, and our biggest supporters have been the mayor and that council. So when he talks about helping veterans, he means it. And thank you again. Okay, so we'll go with the roll call.
John,
Here.
Terry, Barbara, Mary, Mario, Joe, and myself, all directors present for this meeting.
I would just like to say something, and it goes every way, from here and out there. I'd like us all to have just a respectful meeting for us, for you guys, and you guys back to us. Please, if you have a question, come up to the podium. Please don't yell out. It causes a disruption to the meeting, and I'd like us to continue as a community together, at least to discuss what issues we have. So at this point, I'm going to ask if we could forego the reading of the minutes of the last meeting. Somebody? Second? Thank you. All right, so we'll go to the director's reports, and we'll start out with Mario. Mario. You're Mario.
There's a couple of street signs near me that are like missing, so I'm going to talk to them about them.
Oh, well, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make it short and brief. As far as, the grass is concerned,
Mario, hit your mic, please.
my voice is loud enough as
No, it's not.
Okay. All right. As far as the grass is concerned, I'm doing the best I can. All the complaints are being answered, as they come in, and there's a lot that comes in. I made some progress with the contractor. I got a direct line to his office. I don't have to worry about pushing buttons anymore. So that as the complaints come in and there's damage, it's taken care of as soon as I can get it done. He pays for everything, all damages. I got that settled with him. It's gonna take time, and I'm doing the best I can. I've been doing this for 9 years. I've been through 3 contractors. There's not much I can do other than hope for the best, that eventually it'll be all ironed out. And I take care of everything I can possibly take care of with all the complaints. No one is being ignored. I spend 2.5 to 3 hours every day in the office. I spend more time there than in my own house. And I got things to do myself privately. So be patient. Keep track of when your grass is being cut. Let me know, and I can relay it to him, say he's got to do better. He went from 4 days of work week to 5. Now he's on the half mark, which I think he works Saturdays also. So he's trying to catch up. So be patient with me. I'll do the best I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mario. Joe.
This month there were 17 requests for modifications. They were all approved. That's all I have.
Thank you, Joe. Beverly.
Okay, housing report. Houses sold in July 2021, 16 for a total of $8,000. Houses rented in July are 7 for a total of $1,400. Houses pending to close, 11 for a total of $5,500. Total properties with damages, 18. Number of current liens, 169. Number of liens pending, 30. Removed, no old liens, and they're not recorded yet. Properties with a second lien for non-payment of maintenance fees, 50. Properties with payment agreements, 4. An attorney is handling foreclosures, 19. Collection issues, 18. And other issues, 47. And this is also printed in the paper.
Thanks, Beth. Barbara?
In the general account, can you hear me? Because I can't hear me.
We hear you, Barbara.
Well, that's a personal problem, I guess. In the general account, we have $552,324.89. In the payroll account, we have $38,284.44. In the capital improvement account, we have $633,293.89 for a total of $1,223,903.22. The other thing I want to mention is I've booked the Jersey Tenors to appear here on November 7th. At 2 p.m., that's a Sunday afternoon. The tickets, when we get them printed, we sent them to the printer about 2 weeks ago, and I don't know, the guy was on vacation or something, so we're still waiting for tickets. But the tickets will be $20. And believe me when I tell you, you can't see a show like this for $20 anywhere. We're starting to plan a little bit of a celebration for after the show. We're thinking about some refreshments, coffee, tea, cake, etc. Because this year, 2021, marks the 50th anniversary of Hovnanian starting to build this community. So this community is 50 years old. You know, it started 50 years ago. It took them several years to complete, but 50 years. So we're thinking about some sort of a celebration to mark our 50th anniversary. There are some other entertainers that we're going to look into. I don't know how good they are or how bad they are, but we're planning some things for us to do when the pools are closed and we're all sitting in the house staring at each other. So depending on what COVID does to us, you know, everything's up in the air. We live day to day, but we are planning some nice things for you guys to enjoy. So that's it for my report.
Thank you, Barbara. Mary. Mary has nothing to tell you.
Should I go first?
Okay.
Maybe I should go first?
She's never
Yeah,
had
go
it.
ahead.
We have a few things. We have some bids going out. Every so often we have to resurface the pools. Our pools are 50 years old, and we keep them alive yearly, but every once in a while we have to have a company come in. Over the past we've used sparkling pools, which they came in and they replastered, and it always ran around 40 grand per pool. And then they would guarantee that for 4 years. Well, we've since found out that we have other companies now who are using something called Diamond Bright. We have to find out a little bit more about it. Those bids are coming in at around $55,000 per pool, but those are guaranteed for 10 years. And we're waiting for the bids for the second pool to come in, and we'll be talking to the people, finding out which company we want to use, and so next month we should have the bids, and we should be choosing who's going to do the pools, and then we'll let you know, we'll approve that, we'll vote on that right here in front of everyone. The other thing we have to, we're looking at is our bus contract is up in August. We sent out 3 bids now. One is to Stouts, which we have now. They've been very good. Everybody seems to like them, but we have another company called Academy Bus who do private, and the other one is Star, and they do private. So we just sent out the bids to them. When we get them back, hopefully we're going to have everything by next month, and we can again vote on that as well. So that's what's coming up. What we're doing right now. We're working on the pool bids and the bus bids. We also have a company coming in to refurbish the Hartrue courts for the bocce courts. The company has to come out. That has to be professionally done. That's not something that we can do in-house. They have to tamp it. It's special. It's a very specialized thing. The other thing we're doing, our maintenance people will be doing, and the cost is going to come about $2,100. We have to, right out here on Port Royal, we have to put in new fencing around the generator that we have, and also the air conditioning units. So that's going to be done. Let's see. I also have, I just received the engineer report. Every 5 or 6 years, our community has to have an engineer report, and it tells us what we have to reserve, what our reserve fund will be, and what we have to do yearly, unless, of course, in the beginning, we've had this, I have 3 of them here. Anybody can come to the office and make an appointment and look at these. I have the first year, the second time we did it, and now we have the brand new one. We just got this last night. We had an email to us. This report tells us how much we have to put in our replacement fund every year, so that we have enough money to do what we need to do. So we had one done in 2009. Then again, that one was done. We had a receiver here, and the receiver had that one done. That was the biggest one. We have the second one. We had it done in 2015, and we just had the other one done this year because of COVID. We could not have it done last year. So anybody wants to see that, we also have the audit. Anybody can come into the office, make a request. You can come in, make an appointment. You can look at the audit that we had for December, and you can look at this, and you can look at basically anything. As long as you make an appointment to come in, and one of us will meet with you and we'll put it out there to you. So come in and take a look. It's very interesting. And on another note, there's a rumor going around that Holiday City Berkeley does not belong to the coalition anymore. That's absolutely false. We belong, I don't know if everybody knows what the coalition is. The coalition started 20 years ago. It was actually started by 2 people. Councilwoman, she was not a councilwoman at the time, she was president of her community. Tony DiPaolo, who since passed, was on West, and Judy Noonan was in the Silver Ridge. They formed this coalition, and the coalition was formed from the 9 communities that the Holiday Cities and the Silver Ridge. That coalition was formed so that the communities could come together and share opinions, what's going on, and to look at legislation that's been happening. It started 20 years ago. There's a legislation, and it's actually right now on the mayor's, on the governor's desk. It passed in the House, and it passed in the Senate. So it passed, the legislators approved it, and the Senate approved it. It's on Murphy's desk right now. And that's to allow anyone who is under 55 to come into these communities and buy property. That doesn't mean that they could live here, but that means that anyone under the age of 55 could walk in and say, I'm buying a house, I'm going to fix it up. Are they going to sell it? What are they going to do? What we have in place right now, and this was through our attorney, the coalition, if somebody wants to come, if a flipper wants to come in here, they have to come in here, they have to have someone 55 on the deed. They do a contract, they put up money. They have to have a certain time where they're going to flip. So they're going to fix it and they're going to sell it. The Real Estate Commission has been fighting that for the past 20 years, and that's what the coalition was originally started for. I've been down to Trenton with Judy Noonan, so fighting this exact thing. But this year, this was a strange year. 2020 was strange. We didn't have meetings, but this past May and this past June, a few of us have been at the meeting. And it said that Holiday City Berkeley broke with the coalition. Well, we did on one thing. We broke with them because they did not want to open their pools. Nobody's pools were to open this year. And we don't have to have a pool company come in. We have in-house pools. So we found out what all the rules and regulations were. We followed every single rule and regulation. We did what we had to do. And in May, at the first meeting, in the May meeting, I was at that meeting and I made a statement that Holiday City Berkeley pools were opening on Memorial Day. It did not go over well, and we have people who are on Facebook pages and on next door Mule Road saying, well, Holiday City Berkeley. My point is, would it have been better if we just said, yeah, okay, let's not open the pools? Because Holiday City Berkeley opened the pools, the rest of the communities now had to open their pools. So I just want to let everybody know, we are members of the coalition. We are not lockstep with anybody, we never have been. Everybody has their own rules, their own regulations, and how they run their communities. Our community chose to open our pools. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. That was pretty in-depth. Thank you. Question came up in our last meeting about how many openings were going to be for the board, and we didn't answer that, and I will tell you why. The question came up, we challenged whether it might be 5 or 6 seats, and there was one seat that we were not secure of, and we were waiting to hear from the DCA. At that point, I believe it was in the paper, but we are going to have 6 openings. 6 openings will be available, so to vote. I know we all bring up how much money we spend, and I brought this up at the last meeting, that we were under budget as far as our trees and trying to keep the common areas clean and respectfully looking. We're about $90,000 under budget, so we had a couple of rough years before this, but hopefully, I think I mentioned this, that a lot of the problems were the trees that Hovnanian planted when he developed the development, Holiday City, had a 45-year to 50-year lifespan in this climate, and we passed that up. But we've gotten a good grip on it over the past few years, and it looks like it's gonna be pretty good clear ceiling from here on in. Other than that, I really have nothing. So, why don't we go on to committee reports? Does anybody have a committee report?
Bingo, man.
Okay. You know, just announce please who you are so everybody knows. And
Let's see if I can work this thing.
it's on.
Hi. Good afternoon. My name is Emilio Granada, and I'm here to represent Bingo. I would just like to give you a status update of what is happening. What we have done so far, we have obtained the new application for Bingo to the state. Closer?
Okay, right about here.
Right?
That's perfect.
We've applied with the Attorney General's Office, State of New Jersey, in Newark. We received a new application, which is good for the next 2 years. We also have applied with the Berkeley Township for the actual application or license of Bingo. We were told that we should have an approval by August 20th. That would be great. I also applied, finalized yesterday myself, completed the annual report that's required by the state of New Jersey for Bingo. That's been completed. I also submitted the new raffle application to the Attorney General's Office in Newark. That would take approximately 4 to 6 weeks to get that. Also, we have ordered new state-of-the-art equipment, okay, for Bingo. And I just spoke to a gentleman this morning from Atlantic Bingo, and he has told me that we should have it installed by September 23rd. So we're on target with that. A couple of things I'd like to mention.
Emilio, just a question on that. Do you need us to do anything for the installation?
What's that?
Well, you'd say the installation of the machinery and everything.
Right.
We have to get the
New TVs, like we're gonna order that.
okay.
Okay.
And
Both the Craig.
okay. Greg knows. Okay, so just
Yeah.
coordinate with Greg.
Right, I will.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, the gentleman's coming down here probably the week of August 16th, and I'll contact Craig to meet us here. They want to take a look at the clubhouse and see exactly how they're going to do the layout. Okay? So we'll do that. And I'll be ordering also, once I get the application for Berkeley, we'll be ordering 4 new TVs. One is a 40-inch that goes right in front of the monitor on top. Then will be 365 that'll probably go in the back, which the company will install, you know, with Craig and all that, get it all done. So, you know, it's been a tough going, because we're starting from scratch. Keep that in mind. A lot of, you know, legal requirements, this and that. So that's all been completed. That's no problem. Sure, no problem with that. I'll also like to mention there will be a meeting of all former Bingo workers and prospective new ones. It's being held on August 12th, Clubhouse 2 at 1 p.m. So you're all welcome to join us. Bring your friends and family, whatever. We'll do that. There will be a sign-up sheet in the back of the room where those who have not worked at our Bingo in the past can sign up. Okay? Also, while I'm here, give me the opportunity, I'd like to present to you the new board of directors. Okay? We have Norman Gates. Stand up, Vice President. Deborah Caluto, Treasurer. Gillies will be Secretary. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Emilio.
Thank you, Amelia.
Okay. Yes.
Sorry.
Hi, Barb.
How are you?
Emilio, the company that's installing the new equipment, do they offer training courses for the people who have to use that equipment?
Right. Well, we're going to train. There's going to be some stuff. We're hoping to start Bingo by October 14th.
Right.
The reason for that is we'll require some training.
Right.
And we'll have a list of people. We already have one gentleman that's interested in doing it and is familiar with it. We'll make a list of people that are going to be callers and so on.
Okay.
So we'll update all that information and we'll keep you posted. As a matter of fact, I'm in the process of meeting with the IT specialist this Sunday at my house, because I'm thinking of building a Facebook page for Holiday City Berkeley and a website to get the name out and hopefully increase.
Thank you, Amelia.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's on. Hi. Senior O'Connor, 3 Nevis Court. August 13th, Friday, from 12 to 4, we'll have a DJ at pool number 1, just to bring the community together some. The last one went very well. Everybody was there by 11, and DJ didn't start till 3. And then a lot of people were leaving between 4 and 20 to 5, so we decided to change the time. So I hope to see you all there. The Labor Day Bash, I'm taking names and tickets, what you're gonna bring, covered dish. We have the DJ again, everybody has a good time. It's my 11th year doing it. I will be staying after the meeting if you want to sign up with me. It will be entrance to the pool only by ticket from 10:30 to 4 p.m. This way it's giving the swimmers time in the morning to swim and enough time for a few people to rearrange some of the tables. I do need to have a few people there earlier to help me out, which everybody just chips in really, no committee. I also want to say I have lived here over 16 years, and I do have to compliment the board. There's Bob Ward, Carol T, Mario, Beverly, John, Terry, Barbara, Henry, Brian, and I just want to say how much it has improved. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you.
nice.
Thank you. Black.
No, not really.
Good afternoon, everyone. Larry Fox on behalf of the Veterans and Friend Group. Just a reminder, we are going to have a free concert this coming Saturday, 7 o'clock, right here in Clubhouse 2. Just as a reminder, we will have some turkey shoots to help support, our cause, but the concert is absolutely free to anyone. And we ask you to please come in. Let's get everybody back together and try and have a good time and listen to some, mainly oldie music, because that's what most of us are oldies. The oldies with the goodies. But, hopefully, like everybody's been saying, we can get the community back together and get on the road to another successful upcoming year. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you. I just wanted to make an additional comment with Larry. The support that we've gotten over these past years from our residents and other residents of Holiday City, and some people who come down as far as Jersey City and New York for this yearly event. Just so everyone understands, you might be some new people here that don't know. Every dollar that we've raised goes to Ocean County veterans and veterans causes. Doesn't go to any national thing where they get salaries. We leave it right here. And if anybody ever wants to know what some of those things are, anytime Larry or I will be able to tell you. Other than that, again, please show up next Saturday, the 14th, and enjoy some free oldies music. If you don't know who Bob Kulick was, he was singing with the Happenings. See you in September. I wasn't in the group, but all right. Just enjoy it when you come, please. Thanks.
And you can put it in your notes for the future. We will have our annual Veterans Dinner Dance here in Clubhouse too. So, and that's our real big fundraiser. And like John mentioned, we go out of our way to find veterans who are in need of something, anything. We've done anything from, get people appliances when their appliances broke, or give them transportation to the medical facilities. But these guys, and women, there are women in the veterans group. they sacrifice a lot. And the wives and husbands of people who actually serve, keep in mind the sacrifices they've had to have, whether they're dealing with the PSTDs or the medical issues or whatever. So anything we can do is minimal in compared to what our veterans have done for us. Thank you.
Thanks again. And Larry, I just want to mention one thing. Also, the treasurer of our group, Mike Colicchio, is not here today because he's working at the Ocean County Veteran Services Office. He's also one of the founding members with Larry and I, and he is a good conduit for anyone who needs, and this is not just for veterans, but veterans' families. He is our conduit to the state and from that to the veterans, to the VA, to get whatever programs or assistance is needed. And being that Mike was in this, again, helped us to found this group, and then to go on and become a service officer is a great benefit to any vet or family member that is in need. Please don't anybody hesitate, or if you know anybody, come to one of us. Thank you.
Just to reiterate on that, Michael can cut through a lot of the red tape. They'll make you jump through hoops when you do ask for benefits, and Michael will get around them and cut through them and get you an answer much quicker than you would, unfortunately, on your own. Some of these applicants wait years before they get a decision, and with Michael's help, he can cut that down to months, hopefully. Thank you.
Thanks again, Mike. Kevin just had something briefly to mention.
Ruth Dean got in touch with me a few weeks ago and asked if she could do a 9/11 program this year because it's the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. And we said absolutely. We think it should be done. It was beautiful when they first did it in the beginning, back when we were doing it. And in fact, the flag on the back wall, if you look outside in the lobby, that was presented to the community, and it's a beautiful thing. And it was the only thing we actually saved out of this building.
There's a woman sitting next to me who wants to put in her resume for the board. She wants to work
I
for the
just
board.
want to let everyone know that
I don't know whether she should speak to you first.
She's got to write a resume and submit it. Write a resume and submit it.
There'll be music.
She has it. I don't know whether she should speak to you first or just hand it in.
I think it's a way for us to commemorate 9/11 because people are starting to forget, and they should never forget.
This one here, she's going.
It will be, I'm not sure the time, yet. It will be in the morning, but we'll have something in the paper. And, I just think it's a very important thing. And with that, I would like, if anybody has any kind of, I would like for us to put a flag, put our police flag, the blue flag. I'd like to buy one and have it framed and put it on the other wall because we also need to commemorate our police. The police they stand between us and the bad guys. So if anybody has any objections to that, I would like to hear from them. But I think it's something we should do, and I hope everybody would go along with that. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move on to old business. If you want to address it, please come up to the podium, sign in, say who you are, and make your statement. Old business. Old business. Okay, let's move on to new business. Anybody have any new business?
Come on, baby.
Wait a minute. Where am I? There's nothing? Well then, okay.
Hello, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Judy Hess. I'm Judy Hess. I live in 20 St. Croix Street, 12, since 2012. And I'm going to be submitting a resume and run for the board. I want to introduce myself to everybody. I hope I have some knowledge. I was a licensed building inspector. I'm still a licensed building inspector. I worked for the Township of Brick for 25 years, the last 10 of it as building inspector when I retired. And I keep my license current, my seminars are current, and I feel I could be an asset, especially when we had issues with that house that was being raised.
All right.
I may have some knowledge of things that would be beneficial to the board. And I'm just here to say that I'm going to be submitting my resume.
Very good.
Right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Well, welcome. Thank you. Okay. Next up.
Sharon Pano, 23 Abaco Street. I want to know what happened to the tools that were in the workshop. Those are our tools. They belong to all of us.
So you're talking about after the fire?
No, sir, since they put the yoga room in.
The tools that are in the workshop, we have, whatever was good, we have.
Whatever was good?
They're being used by, nobody used the workshop, the wood shop, probably for the past 5 years. The only ones who were using it were the maintenance guys. They would go in, whatever tools were good. I think there was a bandsaw. Some of the stuff was very old, was broken. We got rid of
Let me
those.
cut you off first. I'm pretty sure that you have an inventory of the tools that were there for insurance purposes. God forbid there was a fire or a break-in. They had to have an itemized list of all the tools. I'd like to see those tools now. If they're in the maintenance office or if they're in the storage shed.
Well, what I'll do is I'll find out from Greg exactly where each tool is.
Okay. And second of all, I know a lot of people just recently moved here thinking that there was a workshop there to be used. Who gave you the authority without our questioning about a yoga room?
Since nobody was using the tool, the wood shop, for the past 5 years, everybody wanted, people were calling, they wanted a yoga room, they wanted Pilates. But if they really want to use, anybody can come in and ask these guys. They've been cutting wood for people for a long time.
Okay.
So they've never turned down anyone that came in here and said, oh, I need to have a piece of wood cut. I'm doing something at my house.
Okay. But the question was, you should have asked us about a yoga room. Maybe we had an idea of something else, not a yoga room.
Sharon, do you have an idea for something else?
Well, now that it's a yoga room, I wouldn't want to change it. But I was going to say, maybe it could have been used as a masseuse room. And there aren't too many 65-year-olds.
If we have a masseuse, they can certainly come in, put a table in, and they can work with that.
Okay.
If you have a masseuse that wants to come in, have them come in and talk to us.
Okay.
We'll be more than happy to talk to them.
Thank you, Sharon. Go ahead, Sharon. Go ahead.
One more question.
What is all the excess flooring doing in the library?
Pardon me, what was that?
All the box of flooring in the library.
The box of flooring is in the library, and it's there because if you notice, a lot of the flooring is broken coming into the where the office is, going into the library in that area. So that's going to be put down.
Once again, that should have been brought to our attention. You couldn't have gone and bought it without telling us what you were doing.
Sharon, it's leftover flooring.
Sharon,
So they put it in there. It can't be sent back, but we will be using it to repair the floors going into, so that people don't fall.
Sharon, I have an answer for your one question.
Okay.
The chainsaw, the table saw, the man saw all in the garage. Okay?
That's all that was there in that.
That's what's in the garage that was salvaged. Any other tools? You want to know about a hammer or something? let me know.
Diane 344 St. Thomas.
I'm sorry, I don't think you're on.
Diane Valenti, 344 St. Thomas.
Thank you, Diane.
I would like to know what is happening to the complaints that we send into the clubhouse. I have personally sent in several for people who have a garbage dump in the back of their yard. It's all around their house. It's hidden in the common area. Nobody's done anything.
If I may.
What number?
Let me take this, please. We get letters all the time that there's garbage around people's house. And literally, I'm gonna tell you, we do respond. We don't always get the right response from the people that are complained about. We can issue a fine and we can do it. As a matter of fact, I'll bring you one example. We have somebody that we've gotten repeated complaints about. I'm not gonna give you the address. Repeated complaints. And when I addressed it, I was actually verbally assaulted. We've issued fines, and we've gotten complaints from many people surrounding this one particular home. Literally, some of the neighbors have been threatened, the police have been called many times, and we can only do what we can. We can issue fines, but we can't go in and clean the house up. We can call the Board of Health, which we've done, and on occasion, we do succeed. If you have an issue with a specific home, I will ask you this, bring me the complaint, and I'll take care of it somehow. And I promise you that.
Okay, and I have another one who lives down the street from me, has 4 vehicles parked across their front lawn and their driveway.
You have sent that complaint in?
I have.
Okay. Do you have?
And the oddity is both of these people that I'm complaining about are both renters.
Okay. Then we have to contact the owner of the home.
I understand.
All right,
So,
and I'm gonna ask you again on this one, you bring me the address, both complaints, both residences, I'll personally handle it somehow.
okay, and
Guarantee it.
the third one is,
Oh, I took a-
no,
that was
there's
two.
one more.
All right, go
She
on.
actually has a screen room set up on her front lawn.
A what?
A screen room, like a screened-in tent, set up on the front lawn.
All right, now, just so everyone knows, we don't drive around looking for things, we depend on complaints, and I'm gonna ask you now, for all 3 of those addresses, I'll say it again, bring it to me, I'll do whatever it takes to take care of it. Thank you so much. I don't know, but whatever it is. Hello, hi. Excuse me. Could you please pay attention to the lady at the moment?
I'm Gina Munger, I live at 25 Ferguson Street.
Okay.
I'm here to submit my resume
Okay,
to
great.
the board.
Thank you. Okay, great, Donna. Thank you. Oh, you didn't bring that. All right, Judy, thank you. You're going to the office, and I believe all resumes that are submitted are going to be in October. October's bulletin, so you can look at them all.
Anita Donitz from 13 Biscayne Street. I have a question about the flooring, the excess flooring. If too much was bought, how come there's 103 boxes and that you said that it can't be returned? So is there a way that maybe you could offer it for sale?
The flooring that's being, it's going on the floor in the library that's there.
There's 103 boxes.
Yes, it's going in the office, in the, as you walk in, it's going into the library room, it's going into the air, just the room that's going into the library. So it takes a lot of flooring.
We got 6 openings.
I don't think there's going to be anything left over.
More than 10. We have 6 on our team. No. Judy will be one. She's 7.
Amelia.
Hi, my name is Amelia Paduno. live at 19 Tremont Street. You know, I'm a resident of Ocean County for 35 years, a long time. I moved here 8 years ago. I didn't know anybody at all. But 35 years is a long time to live anywhere. And what I knew about Holiday City is I would never live here. It was the pits. It was a place where we joked about things when we go to Holiday City. So I don't know what happened during that time, or I know you guys weren't in all that time, but I really like what's being done. I like seeing pretty things, so thank you so much. The other thing, my first meeting was last month, and what I was surprised about, I thought it was an informative meeting that we would learn and we would share, and people would share things, and that's not what it was about. So I only came up here to tell you that in 35 years, Holiday City has changed tremendously, and thank you, and I know you did some of that. The other thing is, I know people in a lot of communities because of my here, and I was very happy. Our pools opened in June. A lot of them opened in July, and most of them, not all of them, most of them, there were no guests. I have grandchildren that I take there, so I am happy that you did that, and I appreciate it, and I just wanted to tell you thank you. So, thanks.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, okay. Hi.
Joe Strumento, Roger Stott Street. Just a couple clarifications regarding the upcoming elections. Just want to verify when 4 candidates submitted their resumes 2 meetings ago, there was some chaos and a little chaotic to say the least. Are those 4 okay with being submitted?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, just wanted to verify. Second question, when is the election? November 3rd.
And I have to just mention a little added note to that. We're not having elections in where you come to the voting booths. Ocean County Board of Elections is not allowing the booths to be used anywhere. All ballots are going to come through the mail, just so it's understood. Unfortunately, well, you're right. That's not us. That's Ocean County Board of Elections. They're not letting anyone use the voting booths. So look for the ballots to come to your home and in the mail, and then you can return the ballots. I believe they're going to be, postage is paid, so it's not, it's not going to be anything like that. Return envelopes that will fill up. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. All right, go ahead, sir.
And you can certainly, if you want to, you could call the Ocean County Board of Elections and ask.
I don't have a problem with that.
Good enough.
It is what it is.
Okay.
My other third question and last.
Okay.
There's a lot of people running. At least I know 6.
Okay.
6 spots open, could be 7, could be 9 by the time November 23rd runs around.
Could be.
It could be 103. No,
Whatever.
okay?
More than merrier.
How many people are going to be allowed? In other words, in my house, I get a vote.
1 vote per home, and if you're a husband and wife, it's a half a vote for each person.
So with 6 people running and 6 spots open,
right?
I will not be allowed to choose 6 people.
Why not?
Well, you just said
No,
1 vote.
1 vote per home, I said. Per home.
But this is what I'm asking to clarify.
I am clarifying to you that each home has 1 vote. If there are 2 people in the home, it's a half a vote each. But you could vote for as many candidates are available.
That's all I needed to know. I do thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Michael Allegri, Jamaica Boulevard.
929?
959.
959, thank you.
Let me just sign in real quick. And my question is going to be informational since people want to know about information. The question that I have is concerning fines. Article 15, Section 2. Now, we know when somebody breaks a bylaw, and it says right here, you're allowed to levy fines against share owners for violations of any rule, any regulation, any bylaw, any covenant and restrictions. Okay, this is permitted by the state of New Jersey. So that's telling me that the state has to permit you the authority to give out fines. Except that no fine be levied for more than $25 for any one violation. So the question I have is, I know of several people that have been fined recently, even in past years, for hundreds of dollars. How does the board determine the amount of the fine? And is it one person determining the fine, or the whole board needs to vote for the fine? Or could you explain that to the shareholders?
Usually we do discuss it with the attorney, what fine should be levied. And on occasion, there are some people that just refuse to pay the fine, and sometimes that accrues. If you don't pay the fine, it can accrue if you don't respond to what the complaint was.
Okay, so what it says here, that the $25 for any one violation, okay, provided, however, that each day a violation continues after notice. So in other words, somebody comes in and drops the F-bomb in the meeting, and you need to notify that person they violated the bylaw in writing, okay? And then he has a time period to respond. The fine could only be $25 is what it's saying, okay? So in other words, I don't know the time periods, but I think it's like 10 days. You get a letter out to the guy and he can respond to it. The fine is $25.
Okay.
No, it says $25 for any one violation. It doesn't say per day.
It does not
Provided,
say per day.
not per day. Provided, however, that each day of a violation, okay? So if I drop the word and I get the fine, the next day I'm not dropping the word again, so it's not a continued violation, is what I'm saying. So that's the explanation that I am reading. And, you know, I know of people that have been fined in that first letter way over $25. So that's what I was asking. How do you determine what the fine is? Is it one person determining the fine? Or?
There might be more than one violation for that person. And
Right,
that
so-
might be $25 per each violation.
Okay, that could be.
That could be. Are you specific about anything? If you have,
No, I can't
that
mention-
can't be brought up here. You'd have to.
Yeah, right. I can't mention
I
it in
know,
an
I know.
open meeting. It's confidential,
That's
but
correct.
it's not just one person. It's been several.
Well, again, if you or they have issues, they should come, or you could come to the office if you want to represent them and bring the matter forth to the board, why and where. And maybe at that point, instead of just coming in cold and we don't know exactly who specifically you're.
It doesn't matter who's specific.
Yes, it does.
No, but I'm
Michael,
saying,
it does.
Well, I'm saying it doesn't because.
Well, you're saying that.
It just says $25 per violation. That's what
Right,
it
if
says.
someone has 2 or 3 complaints against them, each one might be a violation. I don't understand why that's not comprehended. It could be $25 for each one of the offenses.
Well, I know, yeah, I can't say for what, yeah, I can't.
Well, okay then.
You know, I'm respecting the bylaws that says that you can't tell personal stuff, so I'm pointing.
Yes, and we all should respect the bylaws at all times. All right? Anything else, Michael?
Michael?
No? Thank you.
If I may, there are fines based on offenses. Now, for example, if someone came into the shareowners meeting and dropped the F-bomb, it would be conduct unbecoming a shareowner. And for that, there would be a fine. Now let's say there's another shareowner who lives here and runs a business out of his home, or constantly has trash all over his front lawn, or whatever. That's not an offense that happens one time. That's an ongoing offense that is allowed to be fined on a daily basis. For example, the guy that has the trash all over his lawn, he may get a letter and say, listen, you have 10 days to get that trash off your lawn. Otherwise, you're going to be fined for that offense. 10 days comes and goes, we give him another couple of days, trash isn't moved, nothing's touched. We get to our attorney, we send him a letter. He is then fined, for example, I'm picking a number, $10 per day for every day that trash remains on the lawn. And that's how the fines are based. It depends on the offense, and you know, if it's a one-shot deal, there are things that don't involve fines, that involve restriction of their privileges. They can't come to the pool. They, you know, it depends.
It says you have it at your discretion whether you want to fine
right.
it or not. And I understand, and I'm sure that most people would understand a continued fine like garbage or whatever, day after day, eventually it would add up.
Right.
Okay, so what you're telling me that the board never fined anybody over $25 for the first day one violation?
No, sir, I'm not telling you that because I don't know whether or not it's true, and I don't lie.
No,
there are those in this room that
I respect
every word
that
out of their mouth is a lie.
I respect your
At that point, I am going to ask both our board member and our shareholders, let us not downgrade ourselves.
Who's downgrading who?
I am speaking to our board member and everyone else. I did not direct it to you.
Okay.
I'm asking for a civil meeting. I don't want to hear an arousal and screaming, yelling, like we had the last time. We like point of order, right, Michael?
Yes.
And I'm asking for a point of order.
Okay,
For the round.
I think that you got that from me today.
Thank you. Anybody else, please, I thought so, right? Yes, next, thank you.
Hi, I'm Fran Corsione. I'm just new in town 6 months, and I would like to put my resume in to run on the board.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I will say this, if there's nothing else, are you coming to the podium? Thank you. Yes. No, Judy, you've been up, someone else is coming. No, it's Judy's hat, Judy's been up to the mic. Just please announce who you are, your address.
Deb Donald, 785 Jamaica.
Right.
I just want to know on the schedule for grass cutting.
Yes.
Am I like understanding that it's scheduled for every 14 days?
No, it's been shifting. We try to accommodate for rain days. It's not always every 14. It should be. It also depends on, look, I'm not sure the exact days, when it goes from when to when. But in the summer and spring, there are different periods.
But it's scheduled without counting for rain every 14 days.
I believe that's it right now.
I think that's like really a stretch. I think 10 days was a stretch. 14, when you factor in weather and everything else, you could go 20 days.
That's true.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said if it's scheduled normally for 14 days, you factor in bad weather, you could go as long as 21 days without.
You're absolutely right. Just so I may, if I can add on to something that Mario is the director who handles the grass cutting.
Thank you.
We did bring in a new company this year, and the reason we had so many complaints about grass cutting over the past few years, that we put out bids, we put out requests for bids, the bids came in, and we found this company, High Tech, and they came in at $100,000 cheaper than anybody. No, let me explain.
Okay.
So they are new. They're trying to find their way around. I do believe they're trying to accommodate us when we bring something to them. As Mario says, they're in every day with complaints. Now, that being said, they've added another crew. They've added a 5th day. So what they're going to try to do is catch up to wherever it's been. I only say this, and I'm not making excuses. I'm just trying to explain what might be their issue.
I just have a question then. Who set this 14 days? When we set it out for bid, don't we specify how often we want the grass cut?
Yes.
Then how do we end up with 14 to 21 days? when it should have been 7 to 10.
You have a certain amount of cuts that you're about to pay for, because you don't want to tell them carte blanche, they come cut it whenever. We want a certain amount of cuts, and then you divide it by the time frame. Say it's from May to September, or May to November, or whatever the time period, and then you divide it. And then you just pray to God that the weather holds up on each 14 days, and when it doesn't, then you just shift it.
But 14 days to me seems unrealistic.
It's an approximation. We don't set it in stone. It's not sent down on the
But
tablets.
don't you think if it was at 10 days, then you have a little leeway?
But it is
It depends on how
come to
many
that
cuts
day.
you're going to have for that period of time and how much you want to spend. You can get the Taj Mahal job and pay for it.
Didn't
or
last
you
year,
could-
wasn't it 10 days last year?
No. It wasn't 10 days.
It's 10 days.
An approximation.
It was 10
days. Approximation.
It depends on the time of the season, and midsummer, there's a longer period of cut. Because the grass does not grow as fast as it does in the spring and the fall. So there are two different sections, two different schedules. Now,
Aside from being unsightly, it's dangerous with all the deer and the ticks and everything in the high grass.
if you have a suggestion, please give it to us.
Yeah, well, I think maybe the next time we go out to bid, just make the time shorter.
We could
7
do
to
that.
10
Again, we
days.
were trying to, find a more reasonable grass cutting
Okay,
company.
but our fees went up and the service went down.
Yes, sir, ma'am, how long have you lived here?
3 years.
Okay, and you find the service grass cutting is worse than it was?
No, I'm saying because it's less often.
I'm asking you a question though. You say the service is not there. Do you see any difference in the grass cutting? Is it a little better?
When they cut it, they do a very
Thank
nice
you.
job.
I understand, and we're trying to work kinks out. And if you give us information, we could try to work those kinks out with the grass company.
Okay, the only kinks are if we're setting the contract out, if we ask for a smaller time frame instead of 14 days.
We could do that on the next contract. I would tell you, I would definitely, if whoever is a board member at that time, whoever submitted, I would suggest that you take this lady's suggestion into take it into whatever.
They actually,
Thank you, guys.
they actually just came in and said we're putting a crew on Saturdays as well, so we can, they're catching up. And I have to say, my grass never looked so damn good in the middle of the summer. My grass was always brown in the summer, but it's green because it's longer. So, but they do a great job with the blowing and with the
It's a good meeting. Larry, come on up. Larry, just announce yourself and your address.
My name is Larry Luke, I live at 25 Dyersville Drive.
Okay, pick up the mic. Thank you.
It all depends on the person who's taking care of their lawn. If they fertilize their lawn will grow faster. People that don't take care of their lawns, the grass grows slower. So how do you accommodate all the different people?
Wow, great point. I wish I could have. Run for the board, man. I mean it, Larry. Good. It's an excellent point. Thank you, Larry.
Yes.
Thank you. Julie, you came back up. You wanted something to say? Wait till you come on up. And just, please, we'll try to keep it. And I want to thank everybody here, including us, that we've had this calm and a respectful meeting. I really, truly thank everyone for that. God bless you all. Thank you. All right, so let me do Julie a second time. Usually the format would be once up to the podium, but I'm going to concede and go ahead, Julie.
The reason I came up is because you're getting so involved with this code enforcement. I don't know why the board's even getting in charge of this. The township has a code enforcement department. If somebody's got garbage, just call the town. Let them send them out. We've never done that.
We
I
call
did
the
that.
town all the
I
time.
did that to
We
the town.
constantly call the town. When
I
we
did
meet-
that to the town, and I did
And the
that
town-
in
and-
particular for
let me-
31 St. Croix, because he had
That's a
stuff
different
garbage
thing.
on the side, they came out, they gave him time, he piled it up again, I called him up again.
We
Because
do
they-
contact the town, and what the hell? That was already mentioned.
And they give you a violation notice that gives you, say, you're gonna be fined, you have 30 days to clean it up, or else you're gonna be
And
fined.
we have had people fined because of that.
I know, but if the board did the same way with your bylaws, give them a notice and say, you have.
Ma'am, we do
30
that.
days.
You're under the impression we don't. We do attend to that. As soon as we get the complaint, they're issued.
Well, I'm just saying, they're mentioning that people were fined more. Maybe if you had copies of notices that you sent out to them, you could say they got a notice on such and such date, a second notice on such and such date, and that's why they were fined continuously.
All right, thank you, Judy, thank you. Next, please.
Hi, Ninetta, Nappy, 71 Chelsea. In
Sign in, please, Ninetta.
regarding the lawn, I'm just wondering, this is trivial maybe, but my roots and my trees are getting cut. If you could ask the lawnmowers to raise their blades.
Hold on, if the truth, hold on, this is a little bit.
I know
weird,
it's
but-
true.
I know it's weird, but okay, we'll.
I don't want my trees
First,
to
I
die.
can answer you.
Trees, I don't know.
These trees are so old that our ground, the landfill that was used, I hate to repeat this over and over, but the landfill that was used was horrible. Hovnanian used everything but what he should have, good, clean fill. What happens is these grounds have settled and the roots stay above the old trees. Now, if a grass cutter goes, they're not gonna just go around everything, it's not possible. If we've gotten complaints that the roots have gotten so bad that they're uprooting people's patios from common ground trees, and we can't allow that either. So, but if you have a specific thing, please send a complaint in and we'll address it, all right? But it has to go in through the office, on a complaint. All right, thank you.
The other question I have was regarding the bag checkers. How many bag checkers? Can I ask? Yeah, how many bag checkers there are?
How many?
I don't know, because 18,000 seems like a large amount of salary money.
There's
Yeah,
two
but
pools.
why so many? There's 4 of them in one pool and.
There's 2 entrances to the pool.
Yeah, but there's never a line there that you need a second.
So if you would,
It's just a
you would like
cost
us to
factor. I'm
consider,
concerned.
ma'am, you would like us to consider having less bad checkers? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll consider it. Thank you.
Oh, thank
For
you.
next summer. Ma'am, please step up. We're losing ground, people are leaving, so come on, here we go.
I'm wondering if you can answer a question.
Ma'am, could you speak into the mic?
Yes, I'd like to know if you can answer a question for me.
Hopefully. Ma'am, could you announce who you are again?
I
Into
did,
the mic.
Monica Van Seventer.
Thank you,
St.
Mike, that
Thomas.
was to hear.
Okay. I see on some of the expenses that we have repairs and maintenance. Who does that?
Depends on what job it is. We have a maintenance staff, and
Right.
sometimes we go outside for certain repairs, depending.
Okay.
If it could be done in-house, we do it in-house.
Do it
If
in-house.
not, we will send
Okay.
out.
And the pond maintenance, who takes care of that? One
When
of
you
our
talk about the
maintenance?
pond, some people confuse the little koi pond that's in the office or the lakes. Are we talking about the lakes or the pond in front of the
Talking
office?
about pond.
In front of the office?
I don't know, it just says pond maintenance, so if you
What's
have
the question? Let her ask the question.
What pond are you speaking about?
Well, what pond are you putting down in the expenses? It says pond maintenance.
Go ahead, Sarah, take it.
Okay, and also,
First of all, are you talking about the $10,000 for the bonds?
no, I'm talking about, in July, it says pond maintenance, $2,772.25. Who takes care of that pond?
We have the $10,000 for
budget for the lakes
I'm
slash
just
ponds.
asking who takes care
I
of
don't know, honestly, I don't know what the.
Is it our own guys, maintenance guys that take care of that? That's all I'm asking.
If we have a pond that's in front of the office, that's a koi pond. Then we have the lakes slash ponds, that's, we send out, we have a company that comes in.
And where is that located?
Pardon me?
Where is that one located? The pond.
There are the lakes that are behind our houses, Jamaica, we have.
Barbados.
The water lakes in our community. And those get, they get treated once a year for, hydrilla, for, lily pads.
Everything else.
Any other thing. So we explain that all the time. This 2,700, I have quarterly. It could be quarterly, but I guess,
No,
I'm not
it's
sure.
not. If you look
Would you
back
do me a
a couple
favor?
months.
Could you write that question down and leave me your telephone number, and I will find out, I will get that question answered for you.
Sounds great.
So
How many maintenance men do we have that work here?
we have.
Including security. Yeah, well, we have maintenance also slash security. Contrary to what everybody thinks, we don't have a night watchman. And no night watchman works here. We have a security guard because we have offices that we rent out that are in the office building, that are rented to chiropractors and some other businesses. So we do have a security man on staff until close, which can be, depending on the time of the year, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
I understand that.
All
So
right.
we have 5 maintenance men that work here?
5, you have a maintenance supervisor and 4 employees.
Well, there's 3.
But one of them is also our
The janitor.
janitor.
The janitor works
Custodian.
under the maintenance program.
Right.
So the custodial,
Custodial is in with janitor, custodial is in with maintenance.
it's in with me.
It is,
Right.
correct.
Okay. Well, somebody already asked about the badge checkers. Also, we have down here clothing expenses. Do we pay for people's clothing?
Men's uniforms, yes.
We pay for any, the t-shirts or whatever they wear on that. It's so that it says, our security, we want people to know that they're the security, or we know maintenance. That's
Okay,
it.
it was like over $2,100 for the last 2 months.
Right, and
That's
they
kind of
also
high.
did, we also did the badge checkers as well.
Everybody gets a shirt.
Everybody gets a shirt.
Okay. I think for this month.
Oh, thank you, Beth. Okay, we have someone
You're
else
welcome.
coming
Thank
up.
you.
Thank you. Hello. Just please announce yourself in the mic and write your name and address. Thank you.
My name is Mary Colasurdo.
Mary,
Mary Colasurdo.
thank you.
32 Scarborough Place.
Thank you, Mary.
I'd just like to ask you, have you gotten an AED yet for any of the buildings here, and especially maybe building 1 down there by the pool? Because I don't see an AED anywhere.
AED?
AED.
Please explain. I don't know what that is.
Okay, an AED, you go to ShopRite, you will see an AED on the wall. So when you go down, I can go and I can shock you and bring you back to life. A defibrillator, okay? No, we don't, because I was in a Zumba class, okay, over in West, and we had a woman go down. And praise God, me and another nurse were there, and their AED was right there on the wall for us,
So-
where they do the exercise classes.
If we do not have one, do you suggest we get one?
You have to have one.
Then we're gonna get one.
And especially over here in the buildings, you know.
Especially because of the
you
age of
can't-
our
Yes.
constituents. I
You
agree.
can't get on a plane, you can't go anywhere, you can't go into Walmart that there isn't an AED.
I'll tell you what,
there.
we'll put that into effect as soon as we can, right away.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
Can
you.
I ask one more thing?
Only one, come on. Everybody-
Okay, it gets me really scared. I
Right.
go to the pool, okay, and we get the DJs, which is wonderful. But then you've got the biggest entranceway, if there was ever an accident, for people to get out safely, you have a padlock. It drives me nuts. Why? Why? No. You're at the pool and the DJ's there, right? Now, if anything happened, well, we needed to get out in a hurry, just say even another chlorine or whatever. We're gonna all try to file out real slowly out of the two entrances. You've got this massive gate and it's locked and it's padlocked. No, but we need.
I just got a message about the defibrillator. We ordered them, they're on back order. I just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, and just make sure.
That was fast, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're gonna put them right where you put the new, like you have a new
I'm gonna
fitness
come, we're gonna
room
ask you
here.
where to put them. I won't remember what you told me. You'll be there.
Well, I was a neo nurse for so many years,
I
so
trust you.
believe me.
I trust you.
And Jeff, please look at that when we have, it's so nice for us to all get together at the pool,
Right.
but when that gate is locked, that scares the hell out of me.
Why don't we take that into consideration? We'll look at it, well, what the town requires, and we'll stick with that.
First of all, we had the police here, we had the fire department here. They said there was nothing wrong with the gate being locked. Number two, the reason why that gate was locked was because we had the doors were open, we had signs on the doors that said, no bare feet, no wet bathing suits. There were people going in and out with wet bathing suits, the floor was always wet. And people were slipping because they were not wearing shoes. I can't imagine who's gonna go to the bathroom without wearing shoes, but that's on you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see anybody else, so let's call for an adjournment. Seconded, God bless you all, and again, thank you so much for a very civil meeting on everybody's, our part, your part, much appreciated.